And I'll just share my screen for everyone. Perfect. Can someone just come off mute and let me know that you can see my screen?
Yes, can see your screen.
Perfect. Gloria, you can get started when you're ready.
Thank you so much, April. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our fourth virtual meeting of the Community of Practice on Citizen Engagement and Evidence-Informed Decision-Making. My name is Gloria Anderson. I'm the project officer for the Africa Evidence Network. I'm not alone from our team. I also have Siziwe Ngabe, who is the director of the Africa Evidence Network. And yeah, today I'm very honored to be chairing this meeting, and thanks to the Secretariat team and everybody behind the scene who have been working so hard preparing this, and especially for you, our very precious participants, for joining. Next, please, April. So just a few housekeeping. The meeting of the Community of Practice are open meetings for attendees working on or interested in citizen engagement and evidence-informed decision-making. So please feel free and engage as much as possible. Just to clarify, this meeting is being recorded, but also please turn your microphone off when you're not speaking. And also feel free to make use of the chat function to share your thoughts, to raise questions, and also use the chat box to also connect and network. Well, I would like to take this opportunity to also introduce the organizing team of the Community of Practice, citizen engagement. We have Siziwe Ngabe, who is a lead and co-chair of the Africa Evidence Network and Pan-African Collective for Evidence. Then there is me. I've already introduced myself. I'm Gloria Anderson. And then we have April English. She's a consumer engagement manager, the Cochrane collaboration. We also have Lisa Uchimura, who is a consultant to Evidence to Policy and Impact Science Division at the World Health Organization in Brazil. We also have Davi Romao, who is a consultant, Evidence to Policy and Impact Science and Division to World Health Organization. We also have Tanja, who is a unit head at Evidence to Policy and Impact Science Division at WHO. And we also have Veronica Osorio, who is a technical officer on Evidence to Policy and Impact Science Division at WHO. So if you find them around, please, we are all coordinators. In case you have a question, don't feel free to ask anyone. So just to share a bit of the timeline of our Community of Practice, for those who have been joining since last year, we started in November, where we launched the Community of Practice. And we had our second virtual meeting in December. And then January, we did not have a meeting, but we had our third virtual meeting in February. And this is our fourth meeting. And our fifth meeting would be in June. And between our Community of Practice meeting, we also have the working group meetings. One was done in we kicked off the working group meetings in November, and then we had the working group meeting in January, February as well, and also in March. Next, please. Yeah, so agenda for today's meeting. So today we are having major three agendas, one being the capacity building activity. We will have a very Wonderful presentation by Andrea Elanga and Alvin Lontam from eBase Africa. They will be presenting on using social media platform for community of practice and AIP. And also we will have a lot of Q&A session, and feel free to ask and share your insights, because we are here to learn and network as much as possible. And I'll be moderating the Q&A session. We'll also develop the COP. We'll provide updates on the working group meetings, and also working group discussions focus on input received in the previous meeting and emerging needs. And then lastly, we will close our fourth virtual meeting. So we'll have the capacity building activity. Andrea Elanga will present that. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the speakers, Andrea Elanga and Alvin Lontam from eBase Africa. Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us today. I am Andrea Ilanga, and I work with the communications department at eBase Africa. And I'm on this call with my colleague Alvin Longtom. Please permit us to keep our camera off, because we have an issue with internet connectivity. So it's an honor for us to be with you today to share with you our experience on using social media for citizen engagement and evidence-informed policy making. I would like to note here that for years we've been using social media just for visibility. And it's just recently that we realized that we are not really tapping into the power of social media, that is changing the noise or transforming the noise on social media to insights that can help for decision making, or help or guide us in producing evidence. Okay, so today we'll focus on two main points. That is the social media, the different platform strategies we use for social media. We use for engaging citizens on social media, and how we equally use it for policy making, how we synthesize the insights we collect from social media for policy making. Okay, so there is a great opportunity that we have with social media, with about 4.9 billion people, or 4.9 users globally, and social media has become a town square of the 21st century. There is a lot we can do with social media. As advantage, we have there's an opportunity of bilateral communication, two-way communications, and we can always get feedback with social media. So this transforms a citizen engagement, and even the way we watch the community to inform policy making in our different countries, in our different communities. So we have here the different statistics that we got from the data report of last year, with Facebook having more than 3 billion users, Instagram 1.5, TikTok 1.2 billion, and LinkedIn 1 billion user per month. So this is an opportunity we are not effectively using. And today we're going to share with you, as I earlier said, how we are using it at eBase. So the question I would like to ask, we can just drop the answer in the chat, is how is the community of practice on citizen engagement and evidence-informed policy using social media right now? Uh, how big is your community, and how often do you engage on social media? So before engaging communities online, we have to understand that the first step is to build our social media presence. That is, our community have to understand the why behind the work we are doing. We have to define who we are trying to, or who we are trying to reach. We have to build our brand and build trust. Equally, we have to make sure we are using the relevant platforms, um, engage and listen, analyze responses and trends, share insight back to the community, and build long-term relationship. So we would like to know how the community of practice is currently using social media. Please, you can drop your answers in the chat. No, I mean this community of practice. So we will come back to the answers later. Okay, you have LinkedIn pages. That's already a good step. So as I said earlier, we are new into this journey. And so far, we've been using two strategies to engage citizens via social media. So the first strategy we've been using is the proactive engagement strategy. And the methods used here are simply, or the tools used here are simply polls and surveys, hashtags, and campaigns. So with these tactics, you can shape the kind of information you want to get from the community. You can define the metrics. A recent activity we conducted was on gathering insight or gathering.
I think we've lost some audio.
Lost audio. Oh,
We'll just give it a minute. There might be some technical and internet issues. We'll just give it a minute.
I think because they're in Cameroon, they're struggling with the internet connection. Maybe if I can ask the participants also to switch off their videos during the presentation, just to aid them as well.
Yes, I think we've had some technical difficulties on our presenters' end, so we'll just give it a moment. And if they don't come back in a few moments, maybe we'll proceed with the meeting. Apologies for the technical difficulties, everyone. Okay, Susie Wei, I don't know if you would like to proceed with the other part of our meeting in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe I think, Gloria, we can go to the section for developing the COP for the working groups, maybe to share their updates in the meantime, those that had meetings.
Great. So currently, I hope she comes back. The presentation was so insightful. Okay, so we can proceed with the developing of the COPs.
Would you like me to share the slides, Gloria?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, let me know if you'd like this slide or the next slide.
Okay. So basically, the main objective of developing the COP is first to continue to develop the vision statement and review COP charter, work plan, and the resource hub. We do this with an expectation that the outcome would be like all the participants contribute to shaping the vision and setting up the COP and the working groups. So basically, the way we are going to do it, I introduce the group discussions activity. We'll do this in like 4 minutes, and then we'll have the group and plenary discussions. We will get the working group updates, especially for those who have participated in the March working group meetings, to share updates, insights, for those who have not participated in these meetings, to be aware of what normally goes on. And also we will have discussions on ideas for the working groups, and these are the charter groups, and then additional steps necessary to set up the COP, but also we'll have additional discussions on the step necessary to generally set our community of practice. Yeah, so right now I would like to hear any update, anyone from the previous working group meetings, if there's anyone who would love to share updates from their working groups. And there are no specific people to do that. So if there's just anyone that participated, can just share their updates.
I believe, Rachel Dally, not to put you on the spot, but I think you had an update you would like to share. And please correct me if I'm wrong.
Hi, it's Rachel Daly. I'm not sure that I have an update as such, so I am part of a couple of the working groups, the work plan working group and the charter working group. Now, the work plan working group hasn't had a formal meeting, and part of that is because we feel maybe that the charter needs to be agreed first before we can actually implement a work plan. So shortly, hopefully, if we have the time, I was proposing to run a very quick session with other members who've joined us today to have a look at the purpose and some of the vision stuff that the charter group have come up with based on previous discussions in previous meetings, using what's called a rapid insight session. So we will share the purpose and the kind of themes that we've pulled out of the discussions that have been had by the wider community of practice, and then ask some questions just to make sure that what we have pulled out as main themes align with what other members think, and then we can make a plan, a bit more of an action plan going forward. So I hope that fits with what you were expecting from me today.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for the updates. Is there anyone else from another working group that want to share their updates?
From the Resource Hub, unfortunately, we couldn't have our meeting because of technical difficulties, but we will reschedule to have another meeting just to make sure that we progress our working group as well. Thank you very much, Gloria.
Thank you, Siziwe. Before I hand it over to April, is there anyone else from another working group that want to share their updates? If no, then over to you, April.
I'm actually not prepared to speak, Sizue. I'm not sure. Sorry, I just had those slides pulled up and not the agenda. So I will just pull up the agenda to see what was next.
I believe we can open the floor for Rachel to conduct the charter activity.
Yes. Great.
That sounds good. Rachel, if you're ready and prepared, feel free to take it over.
Hi, can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. No, I can't see my slide. Here we go. Okie dokie. So this, as I said just previously, this is going to be what we call a rapid insight session. So during the the last charter working group meeting, we had a big discussion about the importance of making sure that members in all of the working groups and the wider community of practice are all on the same page in terms of what we're looking to achieve. And I'm conscious that some people have been here since the very first meetings and some people have joined since then. So we thought it'd be quite nice to do an activity based on some of the discussions that have been had previously, to make sure that as we move forward with the action plan, stuff about resources and stuff about monitoring and evaluation, everybody has that shared purpose really. I'm having some. Okay, so that's sort of a bit of an introduction. I'm going to go through, explain what a rapid insight session is. We're going to look at some questions and then I'll explain the next steps thereafter. One of the other facilitators it'd be really helpful if you could keep an eye on what's happening in the chat, because I can't see that from this end currently, but I will stop sharing once the session's completed. So Rapid Insights basically uses a simple interactive structure to gain insights from groups of people really quickly, and it's really quite helpful in an online setting. They're designed to be fast-paced, but in an engaging way to encourage lots of ideas to be shared within a short space of time. So hopefully you'll be able to share as much as possible during the session, but if any ideas come up afterwards that you think, I wish I'd have said that during the session, I'm going to pop my email address in the chat so you can send them over to me, and I'll gather those and synthesize and share back with the organising group. If for any reason you're struggling, feel free to just observe, and then we can organise for you to contribute after the session as well. So,
Rachel, just sorry to interrupt you. Are you with two monitors? Because we can see only the first slide, not in presentation mode right now.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes, I am. One moment.
I think you're sharing the other monitor then.
Let me see. Let me just stop sharing. So it hasn't moved. The slide hasn't moved.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Could one of you? I did send the slides over. Would one of you mind sharing your end so I can see them, and rather than have the split monitor? Would that be okay?
Yeah,
and then I can monitor the chat then.
I think we all want to speak at once. I can certainly share the slides if you just give me one moment to open it up.
Thank you.
Thanks, April.
Thank you. So
No
I think
problem.
we're skipping 2, I think. And again, one more. Perfect. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions and ideas for you to provide your perspectives and views input on, and we'll follow the same sequence for each one. So we'll pose the question. You'll have thinking time for 2 minutes, which I will monitor, and then you can scribble ideas down if you've got a pen and paper, or as you're going along, you can use the comments, the chat box, and just fire your thoughts straight into there. Your top 3 reflections will come through in feedback time based on the questions that get posed to you, and then we'll summarise the chat. If we don't have time to do that live, we will send a summary after the meeting. You're welcome to kind of stay and discuss in more detail if you want to come off your mic at the end of the session as well. But whilst we're having the kind of the focused insight time, if you could keep your microphones muted, that would be really helpful. And feel free to keep your cameras off as well while we're going through each of the questions. Okay, the next slide, please. So the idea, as I said, is to collect these your thoughts and ideas in the moment as these questions are posed to you. But we appreciate that not everybody can contribute in that way, and some people prefer a bit more reflection and thinking time. And also you may be making a cup of tea tomorrow and something pops up that you might want to share. So you can, my email address is on the page here, and we'll pop it in the chat as well, so you can send them any ideas or thoughts over thereafter. And the next slide, please. So as you're putting your responses into the chat, it would be really helpful if you could preface your response with which stakeholder group that you are representing. So that might be academic, it might be NGO, clinician, public health professional, patient, and anything else that you feel comfortable identifying with that I haven't listed there. Just to help us gather really and see if there's any synthesis within those stakeholder groups that we need to consider as we're planning things going forward. And the next slide. Are we ready to give it a little go? Okay, if we can have the next slide, please. So this is a practice question. And you can see here, the practice question is, if you could instantly become an expert in any subject, what would it be and why? So you've got 2 minutes to think about it. And then as your ideas are coming in, pop them in the chat and I'll pick a couple to read out just to show you how this will work. So I'll start my timer now.
Are we using the chat box or it's my internet?
Yes, please, the chat box if you can.
No, I mean like I don't see people responding. So I was suspecting if it's my internet that I don't see the chat. The message.
I think people are just thinking I'm writing down my response.
Yeah,
thanks, Mona.
we're in thinking time now. I can see a couple of comments coming through. We've got about another 20 seconds, and then if you can put your responses in. And remember, the question is, what would it be and why? Okay, so we can pop our answers in. I can see a couple of technology themed responses in there. Okay, adaptive learning. So many thoughts. Food security. I love that. Community development. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your responses. Please keep them coming through. Some of these are really nice. Some of them are very much work related. Some of them are sort of community development related. So we're getting a flavour of who we have attending the meeting today. Thank you. Lots of AI comments and technology based comments as well. Brilliant. So you can see how this structure works. So we're going to move on to the actual session now. Exactly how you've done it, you can have a couple of minutes, but if you don't need the full 2 minutes and you've got ideas coming straight into your mind, you want to throw them into the chat, feel free to do that. As some of you have been doing it, if you can tag your professional background or where you're coming from, that would be really helpful as well, just to help us pull kind of themes and analyse the responses after the meeting. Okay, could we have the next slide, please? Wonderful. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, during the meeting that we had in, I want to say March, but I feel like it was longer ago than that, Ruth kindly agreed to do a thematic analysis of the feedback that was taken from a meeting back in November, where we were asked some key questions about what we wanted the community of practice to look like and be like and how it would work. We felt that this was a really good starting point to help us with develop the charter. So we've pulled, well, Ruth has pulled a couple of purpose statements really out of that, which was all contributed, all those contributions are taken from the group discussions that we had. And I have some questions related to those purpose statements just to help us really refine that as we move forward to developing the charter for the community of practice. Okay, so you can see those purpose statements there. I'll read them out once, but they will be on the top of each slide as we go through the questions, so you can visualize those. So one of them was around helping members develop public engagement skills and incorporating feedback into decision making. The second was sharing best practices for citizen engagement and participation and tracking engagement success. And the third was aiding other communities in their engagement journeys, emphasising on the importance of participation. So they were seen as the kind of key highlights from that discussion of what we collectively saw the purpose of this community of practice to be. So considering those, I would like us to look at how those purpose statements resonate with your experience and aspirations within the community of practice to date, whether that's you've only attended the main community of practice meetings or you've been able to join the working groups. And if you can take 2 minutes starting now, and again, feedback into the comments. Okay, so that's 2 minutes is up. If you could now put your comments into the chat. I can see some already in there. Thank you for those who've followed the instructions with regard to identifying yourself. I've just realised that I haven't done that when I've put my feedback in. So I'm going to go back and edit. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for your comments. I'll give them another minute until we move on to the next question. There's definitely lots of shared thoughts coming through, which is brilliant. Okay. Okay, if we could have the next slide, please. Brilliant, thank you. So this does tie in with one of the bits of feedback, one of the comments that I've just read, I think. So reading those purpose statements, if you could rewrite or refine them, even if it's just one of them, what would you change or add? How would you change or add it? You can rewrite it in the comment section if you like, or even if there's some that we've missed, if you feel that that doesn't fully capture your aspirations and your expectations for being involved in this community of practice, feel free to add a number 4 or number 5. So we've got 2 minutes. Just to add a bit of context as well, while some of these purpose statements are the what this community of practice is going to do, there are further ideas and further themes that Ruth has kindly pulled through that can be used as action points, which we will share hopefully at a future session. This was intended to be a high level introduction really to that. Some great feedback coming through here. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, and if you can pop your answers in if you haven't done already. I can see that there's some slight edits in terms of the wording and the language being used there, which is really important. I like there's lots of people wanting to change words like aid to support and help to support. I think that's really important that we consider those. Learning from other communities rather than aiding other communities. Yeah, it shows that that shared learning, doesn't it? I really like that. Inclusion and empowerment. Yeah, I think it's really important that we define what we mean by some of the words that we use as well as part of the community of practice. And have maybe a glossary of sorts. So, you know, what do we mean by citizen engagement? What do we mean by participation? What do we mean by inclusion? What do we mean by empowerment? And have an agreement on what those words mean to us in the context that we're working in. Yeah, great. Okay, could we move on to the next slide, please? Feel free to continue to put your comments into the chat. I can see them firing through and my laptop can't keep up actually now with the responses, so brilliant. So we've had, again, I think we've had a little bit of this peeping through in the discussion in the chat. Looking at these sort of purpose statements, what actions or initiatives would make these purposes feel really tangible and impactful? And are we going to be thinking along the lines of that engagement and the coordination? What does that look like in reality? Again, a couple of minutes to think, but if you're a rapid typer and you want to just get your ideas from your mind into the chat, feel free to do that as well. And I'll keep an eye on the time. Okay. I think we've just got one more slide. April, does it make sense to just finish this off and then we can swap back to...
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah?
Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah, not to rush you.
Sure, no problem at all. Please continue to put your answers in the chat as we move on to the final question. May have another one after this. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is an interesting one. If you can think about some real world examples, and again, somebody, I think it might have been Shah Miller, talked about failed stories as well as successes. And maybe we can draw on some of those experiences as we think about the challenges that we've encountered engaging communities and how this community of practice might be able to address them, or can we? Have a think about what challenges you've encountered in your role, and how might this COP help address. So again, we've got another 2 minutes.
You know more than me. So basically, I don't need it for my team. Sometimes I don't need it. Maybe better if I don't do it. But I have to give the PhD qualification down. Because I was
Have 1 more minute.
I like the results and I think I want to like use. I mean, it has like a general statistic, so that one is more like a perspective what we think is biologically relevant. Quality. It isn't bad. Wait, what's yours? Yeah, it's all okay. It isn't bad. Anyway, I think
Okay. Yes, I can see that about technical difficulties. Yep. Oh,
Just to note, Rachel,
sorry,
you shared.
I've just realised that. Sorry.
It's okay. We're laughing because
Oh.
Rachel directly messaged me about the group, so we'll fix
and
it.
we're talking about technical difficulties, and I've just created my own technical difficulty there as well. Brilliant. Thank you very much for the comments coming through. And April, I think we might have one more, but I might be. Yes. Okay. So this is probably the most important, and we've talked about this a lot in the Charter Working Group about making the community of practice relevant, not just to those who are contributing to it, but in terms of the actions and the output that we have as a community of practice. How can we do that? How can we keep the energy there so it doesn't just feel like another meeting in your diary, another Teams thing that you have to attend? How can we keep the excitement there and the relevance, and make sure that it's useful to all members over time, and also members who haven't joined us yet? How can we make it attractive to future members? Quite a big question, this, and I don't know whether we can come up with this in 2 minutes, but I'm sure you'll have a good go because you've had some really good energy in the chat up to now. So we've got another 2 minutes. Okay, we've got some stuff going in about time commitment as well. Okay. I'm struggling to see if there's been anything additional added into the chat. I don't know whether that's just my end or people people need a little bit more time to think about this.
Rachel, I hate to rush
No, it's
you, but
okay.
I want to be conscious of our other presenters coming
Sure.
back online, has some things to present. Do you want to just quickly wrap up here?
Yeah, sure. I think we're done in terms of the questions. Can you flick on?
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, as I said, feel free to fire some questions. I'll share the slide. I have shared the slides with April, and she can circulate them. So those questions will be in your inbox after today's meeting if there's anything additional, and I'll synthesize the responses and get those shared as a summary. I hope that's been useful. And I hope it's been thought-provoking, and fingers crossed it'll help us with the development of the charter going forward.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Okay.
Okay. Gloria, our other presenter, Andrea, is back, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Can you help to share the slides so that she can proceed presenting?
I actually don't have the other presenter slides myself.
Sizwe has just shared with has just sent them to you.
I'll just try to go as quickly as possible. Apologies for the, again, technical difficulties today, everyone. But hope you can understand. Okay, so feel free to take over. I'm not sure where we are in the slides, so.
Okay, thank you so much. And apologies, internet kicked us out of the session. Yes, so we were on the different tactics, different strategies we use to engage citizens or to transform the noise on social media to insights for decision making. So the first is proactive engagement strategies. So we use polls, surveys, hashtags, and campaigns. Before the internet kicked me out, I was sharing experience we had with the recent survey we shared. So it was a survey on gathering insights or experiences on using AI for teaching. So we were able, because of social media, we were able to reach out to more than 100 teachers in less than no time, and in less than a week, we got 100 responses. And this has helped us to have an idea of what teachers in Cameroon, in the 10 regions of Cameroon, think about AI think of AI in education. I'll also like to flag here that when we think of social media, when choosing social media to reach our communities or the people we are targeting, we need to choose social media. We need to choose the appropriate platform. eBase is on many social media platform, but here we use WhatsApp group and our WhatsApp channel because this channel is closer to our to the target, was closer to the target of this survey. Next slide, please. And another strategy we use is considering social media as a research tool. So if you don't yet have a community, if you're not yet popular, there's no issue. You can still use insight from social media to inform decision making. And I will hand the mic to Alvin to quickly take us through that process.
Thank you, Andrea. Good day, everyone. So what we have used to get insights from social media is we sometimes use the web extensions to be able to copy and paste our search strings on the web extensions so that they can be able to provide the feed from social media in an Excel file, in a CSV file that we can be able to now go through and cross-check, screen, and see if they are useful. Sometimes we have also had to painstaking go through YouTube, go through videos to be able to search for what is of interest to us, especially the young people are saying about a particular topic on TikTok, on YouTube, that has to do with a lot of watching and documenting when the search was done, and probably keeping a screenshot of the video, because some of these things could be violating community standards of the various social media platforms. So to be sure that if it is removed, you would also be having proof that it was there, so that it is scientific. So we have that, and then we have for X, for example, formerly called Twitter, we have an advanced search option that you can also just put your search string, and you would be able to find the posts or tweets that relate to what you are interested in knowing. Sometimes now we have, or I was saying that we have the possibilities of anonymizing the data before going ahead to make analysis or draw insights from or conclusions from the data. But sometimes if you want your search to be geographically located, it's a challenge, because sometimes there's a use of VPN. Sometimes content is poorly labeled, and systematic search strings may likely not pick all the studies, because some of them, like the citizen voices, some of the people are not literate. They are not very educated on how best they could maybe label their post or describe them, so that if you are running a search, you would be able to pick what they say. So sometimes we have those challenges, but it is something we are actively working to see if we can do it better, or if we can have give some trainings to influencers on how to teach their public on how to label videos, because actually on social media there's a lot of voices, as my colleague was saying, converting noise to meaningful voices. So but if we fail to capture these, we will be missing out on those voices, and one of those people who could be of help would be the influencers, because if they let the population on Facebook, on social media, know that their voice actually counts, this could go a long way to solving the problem of especially labeling content on social media. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alvin, for that. Please, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so as I shared with you at the beginning of a presentation that this is new to us. We are still exploring this approach, learning from it. So I would like to share with you what we got wrong, so that as the community of practice will be engaging into this, they don't fall into the same traps. So the first thing is, at first we were chasing popularity, trying to be on different social media at the same time, building big campaign, overwhelming campaign, big ideas, but big ideas which lack consistency. And we ignore the grassroots platform like WhatsApp and Facebook. Please move to the next slide. So what have we learned? We have learned that instead of chasing popularity, we need to be consistent, go deeper to build credibility, because credibility is what will help us reach out to people or even get responses when we share surveys, polls, or even when we launch campaigns. It's important to always start small. Focus on the social media that is closer to social media platform that is closer to your target. Make sure you turn all your audience to ambassadors before moving to a bigger platform, or adding more platforms to your list of social media platforms you're using. And you can still answer real research questions just by listening if you have not yet built that popularity, or if you don't yet have a huge community. Please, next slide. Okay, so we would like to share with you the few things we learned. We learned that you need to get closer to your community you want to touch, either in person or online. So the first step is to identify the people you want to touch. You can decide to start with a small number to make sure that you build ambassador or people who really understand your vision. And these people will always spread word when you share when you launch campaigns, when you share posts or content on social media. That's what happened with our survey on gathering experiences on using AI for education. So we shared it in our, because we have a community of practice for teachers named Cafe Oshahidi. So we shared it in the Cafe Oshahidi, and then the teachers in the Cafe Oshahidi helped us spread the word, and that's why we were able to reach out to a good number of people in a short period of time. As mentioned earlier, we don't have to rush to grow our audience. We need to focus on turning 50% of our first community members into ambassador. It's very important. And we should remember that even if we are online, we are dealing with people. So relationship really matter. We need to find a way to build or create this relationship or this link with people following us. And as I asked earlier, as asked earlier at the beginning of this presentation, I would like to know at what level the community of practice or how the community of practice is engaging on social media. We are happy to join you in this journey as we are building our experience and learning more about the influence of social media on citizen engagement and policy making. Slide, please. Yes. So as we use social media or tap into the power that social media has for community engagement, we should always have at the back of our minds that we have thousands, millions of people that are not connected, and we have to keep thinking or looking for ways, actively look for ways to include these voices that are excluded on social media. I'll pass again the mic to Alvin to share with us a practical experience he had in gathering insight from the internet for decision making.
Okay, so we wanted to know what the young people think, especially about decent jobs, what would be ideal for them when they leave school, and we selected Facebook, we selected Twitter, called X now, and we selected TikTok and YouTube. So we developed our search strings, and then using web extenders, we pasted the search string from Twitter, and we had lots of hits coming out, and we downloaded the file. It was a CSV file, and then we now went through the screening to look at, because we were very keen on avoiding posts that were made by the funder of that project, but we found what the public have been actively saying about what the youth have been saying about decent jobs, what they would be doing after school, whether they would want to work for the government or they would like to be self-employed, or what jobs will be very fulfilling to them. So that is what we did, and we actually found a lot of evidence, voices that you will not find in journals if we have to only depend on scientific evidence, voices that you will not hear. And the good thing was that this was across Africa, and we were able to pick posts that are coming from all over the continent. It will be difficult for a researcher to do it if we're following the traditional research way. So we were able to pick up voices from all over Africa, from all the various groups that are available online, as Andrea was saying. There are some people who are not connected, but at least people who had written something on those words around employment, around self-employment, around entrepreneurship, jobs. We were able to pick up those, and the help it was like complementary to the traditional research the review we were doing on that topic. So it was very helpful that we were able to have, at least if we could not have everyone's voice, but we made sure that from the scientific journals, we had social media complementing the review we were doing.
Thank you so much for that, Alvin. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. Social media is everything right now when it comes to communications, of the impact of the work we do. So I'm sure we will keep on engaging and communicating with the people that we work with, and communicating the impact of the work that we all do. April, I think we are getting to the end, right? Is there any agenda I'm missing before presenting on the next agenda for the virtual meeting? Just before I go to that.
I don't know if Andrea and Alvin have a moment to take a few questions if we have, before we just go to sharing the next steps.
Oh yeah, thank you, Cecilia.
Yes, we can take a few questions.
Right. Are there any questions from participants to Andrea and Alvin? The presentations will be shared with everyone. Unmute yourself if you have a question, so that we can give them an opportunity to respond.
Yes, Andrea, your hand is up.
Yes, so we wanted to share with you that we are happy to join the team when you'll be building communication strategies or when you'll be developing your strategies for citizen engagement on social media. We are happy to join.
Oh, great. Thank you for that offer. And also, I was wondering if you shared your contacts in your presentation. So just in case there is anyone here who would love to, chat more and ask more, so that they can also be helped with their communication strategies. Maybe you can just place them in the chat box.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, so April, kindly help sharing the slides so we can finish the last part on the agenda for the next virtual meeting. Thank you.
Modifier.
Can you see my screen, Gloria?
Sorry, I was speaking in a muted mic.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much again for being active until now. Now I'm going to share about the agenda and the next steps. First, next steps to set up the COP and also the agenda, proposed agenda for the next meeting. Next slide, please.
Write it down.
So our next fifth virtual meeting of the COP in community engagement for evidence-informed decision making would be on June 4th from 2 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. Central Europe time. Proposed agenda would be, introduction, presenting the agenda. We'll also discuss on the capacity building activity. Then we will go further into developing the community of practice. We will have group and plenary discussion updates from the working groups as we did today, reviewing the current status of the COP charter, draft, and work plan. We will also discuss how and where the resource hub will be hosted. We'll discuss additional steps necessary to set the COP, and we will close the meeting. Yes, so that is what we have proposed for the next meeting. If there will be anyone who has suggestion, any proposition that you think would make the engagement, or in case of the agenda, you have any category you want us to add, please feel free to share. But as much as I'm concerned from my end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has taken their time to join the meeting today. We believe that you are all people of a very busy schedule, so we really appreciate the fact that you have participated, engaged the conversation. The chat had a lot of insightful comments. We really appreciate the fact that you're working with us in this journey of setting up this community of practice. And I'd also like to thank the team, the secretariat, for the hard work they've been doing behind the scene, making this possible. Until then, thank you so much, and keep engaging. Our next meeting will be on June 4th. Thank you. Over to you, April or Siziwe, if you have anything to share.
Nothing from my side, Gloria. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Good day. Bye-bye.